Thank you for answering the call of duty one more. Thank you to your families for their support over these many years. General Fenton, what do you see as the Special Operation Forces' role in countering China?
Senator, from my perspective of 5.5 years in Indo-PACOM, seen it through the eyes of the Army component, Special Ops component, and as the Deputy Commander component, I would start with the role is in concert with the COCOMs, developing asymmetric, scalable options for the COCOMs via our special operators' placement, access, and influence, presenting multiple dilemmas to the Chinese in this case, in Indo-PACOM, and also developing and strengthening the partner and ally piece that's a comparative and competitive advantage for this nation.
Okay. I think probably most Americans, if they're not familiar with the military or haven't served in it or know those who do, they think of Special Operations Forces and what they saw in movies like Black Hawk Down or Zero Dark 30. I assume that's not what it would look like, or Special Operations roles countering a major nation state like China would not look like those kinds of missions. Is that correct?
Senator, they would look like small teams in countries throughout the region, in concert certainly with the Indo-PACOM commander's direction and in concert with Special Operations Command Pacific that speak the language, are culturally attuned, have been aligned against that region for many years, and actually in many ways have grown up in the formations of those partner nations, developing train, advise, and assist plans, training, advising, and assisting, presenting options both to the country and to the Indo-PACOM commander, and dilemmas for China, all the while also being ready to present options in the event that the joint force required them full range if there was conflict.
Right now we have a war going on between two nation states, Russia and Ukraine. What lessons do you think we can take away about the role of special operations from that conflict?
Well, Senator, from my current position, these are the roles I certainly have taken away. I think first it's the investment early. In 2014 in Ukraine, the training with the Special Operations element in concert with the EUCOM commander's direction, train, advise, and assist, training on resistance, training on unconventional warfare, investments in technology that I think are now being seen in the asymmetric, atypical way Ukraine is blunting the Russian invasion. The second would be the power of partners and allies. What we see with NATO, the galvanizing of that and others that have come in a very close way to provide, whether it be military assistance, train, advise, and assistance, and entirety in the world show an aggressor what the international rules-based order will not tolerate. Those would invest early, the partner of power and allies, and then I would close, Senator, with what a combat credible force looks like. These forces that are there have seen combat. U.S., the forces we have trained as SOF that are actually in Ukraine now, the other nations, they've had combat. And I think it's easy for some nations to look and just train and believe that they know what it is to be in combat. It's one thing to practice, it's another thing to have been in the game. And the U.S. and the partners have been in the game.
All right, thank you. I want to ask you a question about recruiting. I know it's not exactly in your lane, but obviously you just talked about the health and credibility of the force. I'm very concerned about the recruiting shortfalls in the military, in particular in the Army, and the lowering of standards for new potential recruits. Can you commit to within your power in this new role to not lowering recruiting and accession standards for our special operations forces?
Senator, I'll start. The special operations community comes in to special operations for those standards. They, in many ways, exceed and push us on those. That force has shown incredible outcomes over the last 20 years and well before. I can commit to you to maintain those standards for sure, to keep the force that has done this great work, not only 20 years but before, ready for the challenges ahead.
Good, thank you. I mean, I think this committee is going to need to look into this matter. I think some of the decisions, for example, that the Army has made, about temporarily saying they were going to suspend the GED requirement or letting people with face and neck tattoos come in the Army when they're not letting, Captain America, who was the quarterback of his football team but got a concussion or got his knee torn up but went on to play 2 more all-state seasons. It's just absurd, and it deserves some real oversight here. One question for you, General Langley. Djibouti, we have a very important base there, not just for counterterrorism purposes, but it sits at the mouth of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. It's one of the key choke points of the world. Lo and behold, the Chinese just opened up a base down the street. What's your understanding of their current capabilities at that base and why they have it there?
Senator, they have it there because probably in the future they want to have the ability to be able to affect free flow of commerce that affects our global economy. That's a strategic choke point that needs to remain free for freedom of navigation of commerce. That is a strategic point that we need to be really concerned about.
Thank you.